Hello guys, good afternoon to all. Myself, I'm Swapna Kumari Mahanti. Right, myself, I'm a maths faculty from EDUHUNT IIT and NEET academic classes. Students, how are you all? Tell me first of all. Right, you're doing well. Great. So, yes, I'm good. I'm all right. What about you? Good. So, students, you guys are ready to start an energetic class of today's session? Yes? Very good. So, fine students. Today, in the last class, do you remember what we have ended up, what we have winded up with the class with? We have completed successfully with the measurement of angles, right? So, in this class, we are going to discuss about trigonometric ratios. So, students, you are ready to know about trigonometric ratios? Yes? Very good. So what are trigonometric ratios? So why these trigonometric ratios are obtained? From where this has been begun? Ekkad nunchi start ayindi, right? From where this has been started? You have to know, right? So what are this trigonometric ratio? First of all, tell me what is a ratio? It's a comparison between two different quantities, correct? Two different quantities, two different types of dimensions we will just compare, right? So ratio is nothing but simply on average it is a comparison. So here in the trigonometric ratios we will compare in between the sides of a given triangle, right? Sides of a given triangle. So what is that slide? Tell me, what is that slide? For example, if I take a normal triangle, just a minute. So, if I take a triangle, this is my triangle, right? If I take a triangle, what I am doing here? So, this is my 90 degree. This is my 90 degree, correct? And if I name this right angle triangle as A, B and C. If I name this right angle triangle as A, B and C, what happens here? So, this is a opposite side, correct? This is the opposite side. We have already discussed in the last class. And the side which is base or adjacent to 90 degree will be called as base side or adjacent side, correct? And the longest side will be termed as hypotenuse side. The longest side will be termed as hypotenuse side, correct? So now if I compare the ratio, in between opposite to hypotenuse, if I compare the ratio to opposite to hypotenuse, what is the first side I am comparing? Opposite to hypotenuse. So and this side I have told you, this side we named it as a sine theta. Theta is what? Sine theta. Theta is nothing but angle in between these two lines. Yes or no? Ante kada. Sine and okkate raste emuntundi? Sine theta ante angle is obtained in between this line and this line, opposite line and hypotenuse line. Right, if you have a comparison of opposite side to hypotenuse side, then we will call it is sine theta. Okay, this is our first trigonometric ratio. So what is first trigonometric ratio? Sine theta is equal to opposite upon hypotenuse. Clear? Right. Mar second trigonometric ratio enti? What is the second trigonometric ratio? Cosine theta. What is the second trigonometric ratio? Cosine theta. Cosine theta. So how this cosine theta defined as? Right. So the ratio of adjacent side or base side to hypotenuse. The ratio of adjacent or base or adjacent side to hypotenuse. Right, so this is defined as cosine. And can I tell you one logic, children? So see, this cosine is actually derived on the basis of sine trigonometric ratio. తెలుసా మీకు అది? సైన్ నుంచి కొసైన్ టీటా అన్నది డిఫైన్ చేయడం జరిగింది. దిస్ కొసైన్ టీటా ఈజ్ యాక్చువల్లీ డిరైవ్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ సైన్ ట్రిగ్నోమెట్రిక్ రేషియో. అండ్ వాట్ ఈస్ ద రిలేషన్ బిట్వీన్ సైన్ టీటా అండ్ కొసైన్ టీటా? Can anybody know this? Yeah, if anybody knows this, you can tell me. So cosine theta, in shortcut, we actually read this in terms of cos theta. We actually read in terms of COS, cos theta. So if I told you the definition of sin theta, ఏం చెప్పాను sin theta అంటే? We have sin theta is nothing but opposite upon hypotenuse. And right now I am telling you that cosine theta is nothing but adjacent upon hypotenuse. Why should we take like adjacent upon hypotenuse? Why should not I take like again opposite upon hypotenuse? I am having reason for that. So in your earlier classes you are familiar with the complementary angles. So what are complementary angles? Can anybody tell me what are complementary angles? Yes, what are complementary angles? Complementary angles are actually the angles, the two angles whenever if you add together, the resultant must be equivalent to 90 degree. If you take any two angles, again I will discuss, if you take any two angles, the resultant must be equal to 90 degree. For example, if I am here taking 90 as one angle, right? 90 as one angle. What must be the other angle? Of course, it is 90 minus theta. Correct? Because 90 minus theta. If I take one is an angle 90 and the other angle must be there. If you add together, it is getting 180, no? 180, no? And what must be the other angle? If you want to take three angles, see here I am taking one angle as 90. If this angle is theta, then what must be this angle? 90 minus theta. Correct? Because whenever you add all these three angles, the sum of all angles in a triangle is equal to 180 degree. So what must be the three angles? If I take one angle is equal to 90, ఒక యాంగిల్ 90, ఇంకొక యాంగిల్ టీటా, ఇంకొక యాంగిల్ 90 మైనస్ టీటా. సో ఇప్పుడు మన ప్రూఫ్ ఏంటి? వాట్ ఈజ్ ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు ప్రూవ్ నవ్? టెల్ మీ. వై కాస్ టీటా is equal to adjacent upon hypotenuse. This is my proof. Correct? This is my proof. నేను ఏం ప్రూవ్ చేస్తున్నాను ఇప్పుడు? రైట్. సో cos theta is nothing but in name only we have means complementary of sine. So complementary of sine. Correct? So sine, whenever you add theta, it must be 90 minus theta. Correct? So theta, it must be 90 minus theta. Right? So let's check. For suppose y cos theta is equal to adjacent upon hypotenuse. For suppose if I take the value of sin 90 minus theta from the above figure, sin 90 minus theta is nothing but what is the actual definition of sine? Opposite upon hypotenuse. ఇదే కదా sin 90 minus theta. So what is the opposite side of sin 90? I need to check with respect to this position. Sin 90 minus theta. The opposite side of this is AB. Correct? This is AB. And what is the opposite side of this is 90 minus theta. And what is the hypotenuse? The longest side is AC. Correct? So sin 90 minus theta, here we got like opposite upon hypotenuse. What is opposite side? 90 minus theta. And what is this hypotenuse side? AC. Correct? So we have AB upon AC. And also we have what is cos theta by the definition? What is cos theta? Theta means here. And what is the adjacent side from this figure? This is my adjacent side. Correct? This is my adjacent side. So what I have from the definition? BC upon what is the longest side again? AC. What is longest side again? AC. So if I take theta का adjacent side ये होता है कि this one, right? So theta का adjacent side is ये होता है कि AB, it's not BC, correct? AB upon AC. So from observing these two figures, what we have sin 90 minus theta కూడా మనకి AB by AC వచ్చింది, cos theta కూడా మనకి AB by AC వచ్చింది, అంతేనా? సో ఏం ప్రూవ్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నాను నేను? cosine theta is what? cosine theta ఎందుకు adjacent upon hypotenuse వచ్చింది? This is what I need to prove here, correct? So what I am doing now? sin 90 minus theta ఈ పర్టిక్యులర్ ట్రయాంగిల్ నుంచి I got AB by AC. ఎలా వచ్చింది? By the definition of sine we have opposite upon hypotenuse, and by the definition of cos theta we have adjacent upon hypotenuse. సో రెండు కూడా మనకి ఏమొచ్చాయి? AB by AC, AB by AC. If RHS are being equal, we need to make LHS also equal, correct? So from both of this, what I can write? Sin 90 minus theta is equal to cos theta, correct? Sin 90 minus theta is equal to cos theta. Whenever you add these two angles, what we have? Theta plus 90 minus theta, theta plus 90 minus theta. Just theta plus and minus theta will become cancel. What is the resultant? 90 degree, correct? అంటే నేనేం చెప్పాలనుకుంటున్నాను? sin 90 minus theta cos theta యాడ్ చేస్తే మీకు ఏమొస్తుంది? 90 degree వస్తుంది. సో whenever if you are adding you are getting 90 degree, that means ఈ రెండు యాంగిల్స్ని ఏమంటారు? కాంప్లిమెంటరీ యాంగిల్స్ అంటారు. సో we will define those both are కాంప్లిమెంటరీ యాంగిల్స్. కాంప్లిమెంటరీ యాంగిల్స్ అంటే ఏంటి? అంటే సైన్కి కాంప్లిమెంటరీ యాంగిల్ ఏంటి? cosine. Am I clear? So that will be a clear definition of second trigonometric ratio. I hope I am clear with it, guys. Okay, so what will be the next one? The next one is the third trigonometric ratio, which is a tan theta. What is the third trigonometric ratio, which is a tan theta? In full we read this as in the form of tangent theta. ఏమంటారు? థర్డ్ ట్రిగ్నోమెట్రిక్ రేషియో tangent theta. So in shortcut we will read it in the form of tan theta. Okay, so what is how tan theta is got defined? Tan theta is nothing but ratio of opposite side to adjacent side. Tan theta ని ఎలా డిఫైన్ చేస్తారు నాన్న? Just now I have told you, ratio of opposite side to adjacent side. Ratio of opposite side to adjacent side. Clear? Right. So what is దీన్ని ఇంకొకలా కూడా రాసుకోవచ్చు. ఎలా తెలుసా? Ratio of sin theta upon cos theta. How ma'am? How? ఎలా అంటే చూడండి, sin theta ని already I have defined you the meaning of sin theta. అవునా? What is the definition of sin theta? Opposite upon hypotenuse. Similarly, what is the definition of cos theta? Adjacent upon hypotenuse, correct? Adjacent upon hypotenuse. Cancel hypotenuse on both numerator and denominator. So what we have? Hypotenuse gets cancelled. We left over with opposite upon adjacent. We left over with opposite upon adjacent. So the value of tan theta is nothing but opposite to adjacent, and also we can write in the form of sin upon cos thetas. So this particularly used whenever we required based on the requirement of problem, right? So again I just want to recall the first trigonometric ratios. The first one is the trigonometric ratio sin theta. Sin theta is basically a first trigonometric ratio which is obtained by comparing of opposite to hypotenuse sides. Clear? Ratio of opposite to hypotenuse side, the first trig one. And the second one, which is a complementary angle of sine, in shortcut we read it in the form of cosine, and it is given the definition of cosine as adjacent to hypotenuse. Adjacent to hypotenuse. Clear? And the last one, the third one, tan theta. Tan theta is the third trigonometric ratio which is obtained by on comparison of adjacent, opposite side to adjacent. What is the third trigonometric ratio? Opposite side upon adjacent, right? I am clear, guys. And this tan theta, even it is getting equivalent to sine upon cos theta. So we are left over with the three different trigonometric ratio functions. So what are the other three? What are the other three? We have other three trigonometric ratios function, which is cosecant theta. Which is cosecant theta. In shortcut, we read this cosecant theta as cosec theta. We read this cosecant theta as cosec theta. In shortcut, okay, in shortcut, we read it in the form of cosec theta. How this cosec trigonometric ratio is got defined? This cosec trigonometric ratio is defined. How? Tell me. It is a reciprocal function of sine theta. It is a reciprocal function of sine theta. Next one, secant theta. Secant theta is the fifth trigonometric ratio. In shortcut, we will read it in the form of secant theta as sec theta. Sec theta is defined as reciprocal of cosine theta. Reciprocal of cosine theta. And the last but not least, the last trigonometric ratio is nothing but cotangent theta. The last trigonometric ratio is cotangent theta. In shortcut, we read it in the form of cot theta. Cotangent theta ante cot theta ni chadutaru. So cot theta, and this is defined as reciprocal of tan theta, or I told you tan in terms of other cases, no? Tan inkola kuda rayochu. Entadi? Opposite upon adjacent, right? This will become adjacent upon opposite. Reciprocal function kada? 1 by opposite upon adjacent. So how it will become? It will become adjacent upon opposite. I am clear with this, guys. Very good. Right. So what are the 6 trigonometric ratios we have? Sine, cosine, tangent, secant, cosecant and cotangent. Right. Fine. These are the 6 trigonometric ratios we have. Excellent. Right. So next, here comes an extension of trigonometric ratios explained in the circle. For suppose if I explain the trigonometric ratios at some particular values, at some particular angles, what will be the value of those trigonometric values at specific angles? Could you please tell me? Right. నేను ఏమంటున్నాను, ట్రిగ్నోమెట్రిక్ రేషియోస్కి డెఫినేషన్స్ మనం బాగా నేర్చుకున్నాము, కానీ యాక్చువల్లీ ఆ ట్రిగ్నోమెట్రిక్ రేషియోస్ సర్కిల్లో ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తే, ఇఫ్ ఐ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ ఆల్ దీస్ ట్రిగ్నోమెట్రిక్ రేషియోస్ ఇన్ ద సర్కిల్, వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్? ఏమవుతాయి తెలుసుకోవాలి కదా, ఏమవుతాయి? సో ఆ ట్రిగ్నోమెట్రిక్ రేషియోస్ ఒక్క ట్రయాంగిల్లోనే చెప్పలేము కదమ్మా. సో వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్ ఇఫ్ ఐ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ దోస్ ఇన్ టర్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ circle, right? ఎప్పుడు కూడా so actually based upon this only in your higher grades you are going to study. Okay, trigonometry is not the concept you will read or do only in the triangles. Most of you will have that have that type of imagination. It's not like that. If you explain trigonometry in the concept of a circle, what is going to happen, right? For example, sin theta trigonometry lo etla explain chesanu, how I have explained opposite upon hypotenuse, right? Here when it comes to circle, right? So this is the center of the circle, right? This is the center of the circle. And you know, right, this is x-axis and this is x, my negative of x-axis. This is y-axis and this is negative direction of y-axis. Right? When you will be forming an angle, if the particle is here, will you form any angle? No, right? I told you the definition of angle. Angle ippudanna initial ray ki final ray ki konchamanna space undali. Right? In this case, the angle will become 0. Kada? అవునా కాదా? సో దిస్ ఈజ్ మై ఫైనల్ రే. ఫర్ సపోజ్ పార్టికల్ ఇక్కడ వరకు ట్రావెల్ అయింది. సో వాట్ ఈస్ ద యాంగిల్? కెన్ యూ సీ హియర్? దిస్ ఈజ్ మై టీటా. కరెక్ట్. అలా ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ట్రావెల్స్ ఇన్ ద ఫస్ట్ హియర్, సో ఎలా ట్రావెల్ అయింది? సి మై పార్టికల్, just a minute, my particle is like this is my center and my particle is here, right? నా పార్టికల్ ఇక్కడైనా ఉంది. If I take only this part of diagram, నాకు ఎలా వస్తుంది? I'll just represent with other color. See, if I take this part of diagram, only this part, that means 1 radian. So if I take this part of diagram, how am I getting? Just see, ఏం చేస్తున్నాను? This is my particle and this is my center, which is O, right? And this is my x-axis, right? This is forming a 90 degree, correct? This is forming a 90 degree here, right? So if I take the particle and this is my first quarter of the circle, avuna? Especially నేను ఇలా తీసుకుంటే మీకు ట్రయాంగిల్ వచ్చింది. Can I tell you this part is a quarter part, this part is a quarter part of circle? దీనిలో పార్టేనా? అవునా కదా చెప్పండి. సో ఇప్పుడు నేనేమంటున్నానంటే ఇక్కడ సైన్ థీటా మీరు ఎలా డిఫైన్ చేశారు? ఆపోజిట్ అపాన్ హైపోటెన్యూస్. దిస్ ఈజ్ మై ఆపోజిట్ అపాన్ హైపోటెన్యూస్. సైన్ థీటా యూ హ్యావ్ ప్రొవైడెడ్ ద రిలేషన్షిప్ బిట్వీన్ దిస్ అండ్ దిస్. సో ఇది ఇప్పుడు ఇలా చూడండి, వాట్ వీ హ్యావ్, దిస్ ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ రేడియస్. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ మై హైపోటెన్యూస్ సైడ్, కరెక్ట్? సో దిస్ ఈజ్ మై hypotenuse side. This is my hypotenuse side. And what will be this side? Tell me. Sin theta, where you form a 90 degree? Tell me. Yes. So this is my adjacent side. And if I drop a perpendicular, this is my perpendicular side or opposite side, correct? 90 degree opposite is, this is my 90 degree, the opposite, this is my perpendicular, this is my base side. So in the sin theta, if I want to explain in the form of circle, I am just relating with it. Ela explain cheyochu? This is sin theta can be defined as projection on y axis. Projection on y axis upon radius. Projection on y axis upon radius. కొంచెం కన్ఫ్యూజ్డ్ ఉన్నారా? జస్ట్ వెయిట్ ఎ మూమెంట్. sin theta, normal, right angle triangle, I have explained you like opposite upon hypotenuse. If the same sin theta, okay, I want to explain the definition of sin theta if I take in the circular figure. సర్కిల్లో నేను ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నాను. అప్పుడు నేనేం చేస్తాను? I will consider the first part of circle. I will consider the first part of circle. This is my first part, right? First part of circle, first quarter part of circle. So I will draw a perpendicular, I will draw a image or projection on y-axis. This is called image or projection of y-axis. Projection అంటే ఏంటి? ఇప్పుడు ఇది y-axis ఉంది, వర్టికల్ లైన్. వర్టికల్ లైన్కి ప్రొజెక్షన్ అంటే దిస్ విల్ బీ మై వర్టికల్ లైన్, కరెక్ట్? If this is my horizontal line is my x-axis, what is the projection of x-axis? This will be the projection of x-axis, correct? Horizontal lines projection is this and vertical lines projection is this, correct? So what I am doing here, opposite is nothing but it takes opposite side on projection on y-axis. Can you see here? So this is my perpendicular line. I have drawn a perpendicular line which is parallel to y-axis, which is projection on y-axis. So I have renamed opposite side as projection on y-axis and I have renamed the hypotenuse side as, how I have renamed the hypotenuse side? This is nothing but my radius of the circle. అర్థమవుతుందా? హైపోటెన్యూస్ సైడ్ I have renamed as radius of the circle, and this one I have renamed as projection on y-axis. Similarly, if I ask you to give the definition of cos theta, how you will give the definition of cos theta? Tell me. Adjacent upon hypotenuse in the normal triangle. Correct. So what is the adjacent side? But ఇదే cos theta నేను సర్క్యులర్లో రీనేమ్ చేయమన్నాను. ఎలా రీనేమ్ చేస్తారు? వాట్ ఈస్ ద అడ్జసెంట్ సైడ్ ఆఫ్ పర్పెండిక్యులర్ 90 degree? This is my 90 degree, correct? So this will be my adjacent side, correct? So adjacent side can be renamed as projection on x-axis. Projection on x-axis upon radius. Projection on x-axis upon radius. Am I clear? Good. Fine. So the next concept we are going to learn the signs of 6 trigonometric ratios. The signs of 6 trigonometric ratios in different quarters. Different quarters of each part. So in circle we'll have 4 different quarters, no? In the first quarter, what are the signs of 6 different trigonometric ratios? Similarly in second, third, fourth. So this is the concept we are going to learn in the next class. Meanwhile, stay tuned. Bye bye. Have a good day. Thank you.